flanked there by his wife, Emine Erdoğan. Lots of Turkish flags. We've heard the Turkish anthem right now. The president is going to be addressing now the relatives of the 251 people who lost their lives and also veterans. Later on, he will also be addressing the nation. I will also bring you that live.
It's about 6 p.m. local time right now. About 4 or 5 hours from now, 5 years back, soldiers had entered the building that we are now standing in. It's very, very surreal to think that there was military presence inside of this international news channel.
Absolutely, that's a point we sometimes, well, many of our colleagues remember.
Many of our colleagues were threatened. Many of our colleagues, unfortunately, were restrained, and it was a very, very, very sad moment to have soldiers inside.
TRT World in Istanbul, TRT in Ankara as well.
TRT was a very important target for FETÖ, trying to come and take over these channels and block the state's communications apparatus, especially when we look at it from a local perspective. And I can't imagine how, especially our foreign colleagues must have felt being in Turkey and seeing this terror organization walking in to this international news channel and trying to take control of this international news channel. I mean, you are not used to seeing a military man inside an area of media. At the end of the day, this is a media network. This is an international news channel, and we had terrorists dressed up as soldiers come here with weapons, breaking down doors, breaking down...
right where we are sitting right now.
Right where we're sitting right now. There were soldiers all over this place 5 years ago.
Incredible, and it's really touching to see the TRT anchor who was made to read a statement by the soldiers live on air. Tell us about that.
Yes, the anchor was made to read this manifesto, and her life was threatened. She was very, very scared, and she was forced to read the manifesto, proclaiming that the coup was underway and that they were coming to take control. And luckily, it had a reverse reaction. Rather than scare the people, it infuriated people and made them want to hit the streets. And then after we had the call from President Erdoğan from that very famous FaceTime on CNN Turk with Turkish journalist Hande Fırat, after he made that call to the Turkish public to defend democracy, then we begin what was a trickle of people turns into waves of people coming out onto the streets.
I remember watching that from London, that FaceTime call, just thinking this is absolutely incredible.
It is quite an iconic moment, not only in Turkish history and world history.
World history.
When you see that visual, you know that's the July 2016 Turkey coup attempt, and you know that's the Turkish president calling on the public. So
and his life was threatened, wasn't it? I mean, he's about to deliver a speech right now, but just remind us of what was, you know, the risk that
there was
he
an
had.
assassination team heading to Marmaris trying to kill him. There was a kill squad trying to take the Turkish president out. I mean, this is very, very serious.
What stopped that?
I don't know exactly how it was stopped. I mean, the president had his Secret Service with him. The president obviously had many members of the military who were loyal to him as well. So
this is a very personal moment right now for the president.
He wasn't unprotected, but there were men who were trying to kill him. There were men who tried to take him out that night, and he didn't hide. He went in the air. He came to Istanbul, and he let the public know he's alive. He's at the head of the Turkish government. I believe the president's about to speak.
Indeed he is, and he is about to speak right now.
Esteemed families of our martyrs, esteemed veterans, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet you all with my deepest regards at the outset of my remarks on this special occasion. Again, at the very beginning of my remarks, I would like to commemorate those lives that we lost because of the Fethullahist terrorist organization, those who lost their lives, 251 martyrs, I would like to wish their families our deepest condolences. May Allah's blessings be upon them. On the same night, many of our citizens became veterans, and I would like to take this opportunity to wish them a lengthy life in good health. The heroes should always say Amen.
Amin, amin, Allahu Ekber.
Yes, for 1,000 years now, all across Anatolia, we have been working to make this homeland our eternal homeland. And on the 15th of July, many of our citizens joined the ranks of the martyrs of the past. We have just inaugurated 15th of July Democracy Museum, and we would like to dedicate this museum to their holy memory because we are indebted to them. And this museum will always serve as a sober reminder of the treacherous coup attempt that these traitors were engaged in. Albeit in a delayed manner, we have operationalized this museum today, which will always be a symbol of democracy, rights and liberties, a symbol of struggle for these values. And we have shown the world over that the struggle for these values is not an easily won fight. Now, coups in Turkey and across the world, the longest night, those who left a trace, salah, respect for martyrs, and democracy marches are 8 different themes in 8 different halls where we depict what took place on that fateful night. And in our museum you will also find about the resistance exhibited by our heroes on that night. Thanks to digital technologies, the visitors of this museum will experience the horrors and the triumphs of that night. Our museum, with its halls and other facilities, is going to be a symbol for this magnificent fight. For about 66 square meters, we have a museum, and 75 by 50 dome, open-air valley, 93,000 square meters, gardens and car park. And this monument will go a long way towards keeping alive the memory of our martyrs, inshallah. Apart from the dome itself, the entire museum is underground, and for the first time in the world, all the outdoors have been disinfected with ozone technology, which is a first in the world. This is yet another feature of our museum. In the designing of this museum and in the construction of the museum, many people worked tirelessly. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, our engineers, our laborers, everyone who made this monument possible. And I hope and pray that our nation will never be tested by an atrocity such as 15th of July. In order to make sure that Turkey does not face similar treason, we need to stand against all terrorist organizations, chief amongst them FETÖ, and we need to stand against all sorts of machinations against our unity. We need to stand against all the threats thrown in our way. We will continue to be vigilant. Esteemed members of our nation, esteemed families of our martyrs, and esteemed veterans, Now, right after 15th of July, for 27 days in 81 provinces across the country, members of our members of our nation took to the streets to stand vigil for democracy. On behalf of myself, on behalf of my nation, I would like to thank them for their sacrifices. Dear brothers and sisters, these vigils were a message conveyed to those who tried to dismantle Turkey's unity, and as such, it was a legendary act by the Turkish people.
İhanet nöbetini FETÖ'nün bırakıp PKK'nın devraldığı.
After FETÖ, PKK took over this treason, and then this was taken over by Daesh. When they fell short, other dark powers and circles stepped in, and the objective was to make Turkey bow down and to captivate the Turkish nation. And in this chain of treason, the plotters of this scheme actually planned for everything ahead of time, but there's one thing that they forgot to take into account. The masterminds behind this scheme didn't know how much Turkish people love their homeland and how they would protect their homeland and how they would put their lives on the line to protect their Adhan, their flag, their National Assembly and their president. This they did not take into account. There's one more thing that they did not take into account, and it is this. There is the final word that Allah will utter, and that will frustrate the plans of those who try to overthrow things, and this is something that, again, they did not take into account. Turkish armed forces, FETÖ, the Turkish armed forces does not belong to FETÖ or anyone else. It belongs to the Turkish nation, and again, this they could not fathom. Our nation, all throughout history, for countless times, rose up from their ashes when many people thought that everything was over, and after this resurrection, our nation accomplished even unprecedented, even greater things. And thankfully, on the 15th of July, our nation exhibited the same level of determination and same level of courage. Thankfully, we witnessed this once again, and to such a scale that the entire world was astounded by the bravery of the Turkish nation. On that night, the Hill of the Martyrs were full of people. Many people took to the streets, and many people chased after coup plotters and implementers, and thanks to their heroism, we demonstrated once again that Turkey is unsurmountable and unbeatable. Of course, just like every other big struggle, of course we have suffered losses. FETÖ, members of FETÖ, these traitors killed and martyred 251 brothers and sisters, and their stories, each and every one of them, actually will be a source of inspiration for us all for many more centuries to come. And one of these stories is Ömer Halis Demir, our brother Ömer Halis Demir. One of my closest colleagues, Erol Olçok, was yet another such name. Professor Varank, again, was yet another such name that we lost. We have so many martyrs, so many beloved that we lost, and we've had the opportunity to know these people thankfully, and on the highway across the complex, this presidential complex, many people lost their lives, but the blood that they shed was not in vain. These are stamps of independence that we put on our homeland. In our national anthem, the poet says, I dare anyone to not be a martyr for this beautiful homeland. Martyrdom would come out of the ground if you squeeze the ground, and even if I lost everything, I still would like to remain in my homeland.
Allah şahittir.
And God will bear witness, and our nation should rest assured that if that night, if coup plotters, if in Marmaris or in Marmaris, at the Atatürk airport, if they had confronted us, we would not have blinked an eye in the face of martyrdom. Because tens of thousands of people at the airport went to the airport for martyrdom. They did not have any hesitation, and I saw this with my own eyes, and it was as if I was living through their eyes. On that night, the Grand National Assembly was also flooded by MPs. They knew that they could have died, but they nevertheless did not desert the building. And at the building of the General Staff and around the presidential complex and around the police headquarters in Ankara, in Istanbul as well, on the bridge, on the Martyrs Bridge in Üsküdar, in Saraçhane, tens of thousands of people took to the streets, and they were waiting for their turn for martyrdom almost. All across our nation, millions of people, millions of hearts were beating with the same sentiment. And just like around the world, hundreds of millions of hearts beat for Turkey, and people prayed for Turkey all across the world. And from its youngsters to its elders, the entire nation was on their feet, and we were experiencing the same sentiments. Martyrs never die. This is not a mere maxim for us. This is a motto that we live by. It is a testament of our faith. And martyrdom, just like anything else, falls on you if it's destined to happen for you. On the 15th of July, some of our brothers and sisters reached that level of merit. Blessed are those families, blessed are their parents, blessed are their children. Blessed are you because you are now neighbors with the most beloved, and you will be greeting the ones that will come after you in the Jannah. Every time we remember them, and every time we commemorate them, and every time we get together with our veterans, we share the same sentiments. We experience the same sentiments over and over again. If Allah did not grant us this level of merit, then that means that there is more duties that we need to fulfill in this world. And with this sentiment, in order to be becoming of our martyrs, in order to protect and improve our country, in order to make sure that our country grows larger and stronger, in order to protect the unity of our homeland, in order to ensure a bright future for our country, we need to work day and night, and we need to continue to keep on working. And inshallah, until we reach our goals, we are never going to stop. We will always continue on this path. Thanks to the help of Allah and thanks to the support of our nation, we are going to overcome all the hurdles that will be thrown in our way. We will frustrate the plans that aim at our unity, and we continue to reach our goals. We have left many of the milestones behind. In front of us, we have 2023 goals, and as the People's Alliance, we need to overcome that burden or milestone as well. And as we do that, we're going to herald in a new era for Turkey. And once Turkey reaches that level, we will have honored the martyrdom of our beloved martyrs, and inshallah we will accomplish this all together. Honorable members of our nation, honorable families of our veterans, honorable veterans, all throughout its history, Turkey was subjected to many attacks and many threats. And for our nation, protecting the homeland, in order to take what's ours, what's rightfully ours, has always been like bread and butter for us. It has become like a second skin to us. We have this great wealth of accumulation when it comes to struggles, and if needs be, we know how to forgive our enemies. When the time comes, we know how to forge new alliances. But there is one thing that we will never ever forget, which is traitors that are amongst us, the treason perpetrated by the traitors that are within our own ranks. Dear youngsters, this nation will never ever forget treason, nor traitors, nor those who stand behind traitors. Some people try to manipulate these traitors and still try to manipulate them for their political ends. And again, our nation will not forgive them either, no matter what, until the last member of FETÖ is neutralized, until the last member of FETÖ is penalized, until they are held accountable. We will continue this fight. Once again, I should like to underscore the following. Those who hold guns to the members of the nation, who shoot at members of the nation, who target the Atan and the flag of the nation, those who try to blemish the future of the nation will never be pardoned, will never be forgiven. Those who infiltrate the state, who establish dark circles within the state, will never be pardoned. Those who try to come up with machinations to strengthen their position will never be pardoned. If needs be, we will make the greatest sacrifice, but we're never ever going to put our country in such a dismal state. Be it outside or inside, whoever is colluding with FETÖ members or PKK members, whoever is talking about rights and justice and freedoms, you should know that at the back of their minds they have some dark goals for Turkey. There are those who preach us about these people. They should save it for themselves. We know what we're doing. We know what we're going to do very well indeed. Some people say that they don't have money. Their money is probably stashed away somewhere, and it's all very apparent. This is something that we tried and tested for many times. The 15th of July coup attempt. Here we are at the 5th anniversary, and we are joined by families of our martyrs and veterans, and we would like to reiterate our determination. Once again, may God help us in this endeavor. Today we inaugurated the 15th of July Democracy Museum, and I hope that this museum is going to be auspicious for our nation, for our country. And once again, I would like to thank everyone who made this monument possible. And let us make sure that sooner than later we all visit this beautiful museum. And I greet you all with my deepest regards as I conclude my remarks, and wish you all an Eid Mubarak from today, and inshallah, on Monday and Tuesday, we will be traveling to Cyprus together with Mr. Bahçeli. As a wide group, we will be traveling to Cyprus, and we will be observing Eid al-Adha in Cyprus, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. We will offer our prayers there, and we will participate in the celebrations there. We will be going there as a big group, like I said. And I wish everyone an Eid Mubarak once again, and thank you very much for your participation. And for the prayers now, I would like to invite the head of the DG of Religious Affairs to the stage. Thank you very much indeed.
You've just been listening there to the Turkish president addressing the relatives of martyrs from the July the 15th failed coup attempt here in Turkey. A very somber day for the country where more than 250 people lost their lives and more than 2,000 were injured. My colleague